Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Cecilia Rakusek from the National Czech and Slovak Museum and Library. This is kind of part two of a series of conversations. Talked about Bruno's last week, which I understand just went fabulous.
Wonderful as
of
always.
course.
Great.
But now you guys don't slow down. Two big events in 2 weeks as you are dedicating the clock tower, which has stood for many years in the Czech Village near the museum, but has undergone a significant upgrade. First off, I have to apologize because I've been pronouncing this Orloj all the time, but it's Orloj.
Absolutely. Orloj. It's Prague style Orloj. Okay. So thank you, Dennis, for having me. It's a pleasure to talk about this wonderful project.
Well, I was around 25 years ago when the three presidents came for the dedication of the museum, and you are, while the clock is not the entire museum, this is the reprise. You invited the presidents to return to be a part of the dedication of the clock tower.
And it is historic too, Dennis, because we are going to be the only Prague-style Orloj in North America and one of only 8 in the world. So it'll be a real destination place for people to come to Cedar Rapids. And what's so unique about this one is that the one in Prague and many of the others, like in South Korea and then also in Olomouc in the Czech Republic, have religious figurines. We chose to have immigrants.
Now, and we should say the figurines, this is one of those clocks where every hour the figurines come out and do a little dance and make a little circle.
Right, exactly. And they'll be playing, coming out to the music of Antonín Dvořák, who was here in Iowa, and also Bedřich Smetana, who is another great Czech composer. So we're really highlighting, and the tower is also unique in that it was built by Czech artisans and Slovak. So the clock itself was built by Spell & Company, a group of engineers in Prague that take care of the current Prague-style Orloj. So they took their time off to build ours, and it will actually be run out of Prague. The mechanism in the Astrolab will be maintained on computer digitally in Prague.
Oh,
and the 4 engineers have done a tremendous job of really actually totally imitating the one in Prague. The one in Prague was built in 1410, and it's still functioning.
It's mind-boggling to those of us who live in the States. It's just mind-boggling to think of things that were built with such craftsmanship that hundreds and hundreds of years later they still operate the way they should.
And the group of engineers has done a fantastic job. And because we're a Czech and Slovak museum and library, I wanted to really showcase both the Czech and Slovak cultures. So the statues, the 3-foot statues, were all built in Slovakia. So the immigrants, the clock mechanism in Astrolab is Czech, and the statues and figurines that come out, they're each 3 feet, were built in Slovakia.
And you mentioned that instead of using religious figures, they will be immigrant images of what the Czech and Slovak immigrants did when they came to this country.
Absolutely. So we have a meat packer, we have a nun, we have a business person, we have a mother with a child, we have a couple dancing the polka, we have an accordion player because music was such an important part of who they were. We have a coal miner because the Slovaks were primarily coal miners. We have a farmer, of course. We have an ice maker to replicate the charima, the chatama, so we would say ice making in the city. So we really tried to replicate all of the different. We have a Sokol member. As you know, the Sokols were very big because when they came over, they needed to have groups because they didn't have insurance. They were alone. So they would, have groups like the Sokols who would do the athletic work, and then they had the fraternal groups. So we've tried to represent each and every. We also have a wonderful blacksmith. And so we tried to replicate the key professions that people had here.
Now, you mentioned that the Orloj that is being mounted as of now is mounted up there and ready to be unveiled is made by the same craftsmen who maintain the original, but there's some modern technology in there because and in fact I saw this firsthand because I was lucky enough to walk past it before it was mounted when the technician was working on it, and I saw him. He was at his laptop type. So the original Orloj in Prague, does that still operate? Do you know, with the original mechanism, or have they updated
They've
that?
updated it.
Okay.
We were lucky enough last year. One of our board members, Ron Datweiler, and one of our staff members, Dr. Mikulash, and I were able to go up into the current clock tower in Prague, and it's been modernized. But clearly, a lot of the old mechanisms are still there. But in terms of maintenance and digitalization, they've been able to update it.
And then it will actually be synced to the one here in Cedar Rapids over the internet.
Yep, it will be. Yes,
Crazy.
it will. So we're so excited. And you know what makes us so special, Dennis, is that both the president of the Czech Republic, Petr Pavel, and the president of the Slovak Republic, Peter Pellegrini, are coming. And they want to show to the community, to the nation, their support of our only national Czech and Slovak museum in the United States, and also how important this monument is to our culture, and to really talk about the contributions of Czechs and Slovaks to the nation and to the world. So we are just thrilled that they're coming. The dedication will be Friday, September 27th at 12 o'clock noon. And the outside doors will open outside doors, meaning security, will open at 9:30 on Friday the 27th, so people can come early. And there'll be a brass band playing again. Our Amana band will be playing. And so we're excited about that. Thankfully, they're going to be playing. And I know that the Czech Plus band will be also playing in Czech Village. And so at the Lions Bridge, so there'll be lots of music and lots of festivities going on. And we just want people to come. And this is the second time in history that two sitting presidents have come from abroad to be with us at the National. It says National Czechoslovak Museum and Library. It says a lot about the community and the faith and respect that these people have for our community.
The Czech Museum is, we always think of it as one of our leading cultural entities here in Cedar Rapids, but we also, kind of take it for granted a little bit because it's always been here. And I don't think that we here in Cedar Rapids have a real appreciation for the stature of the museum around the country and internationally, because I know that you travel nationally and to talk with the museum, talk about the museum, and and talking about different Czech and Slovak communities around the country. And the sense I have is that the love they have for this facility in this city is just huge.
It is. We posted information about the clock tower, and the response nationally and internationally has been overwhelming. And I think, thank you for saying that the question I'm asked the most when I travel is, why is the museum in Cedar Rapids, Iowa? And at first that took me back. I said, why are they asking me this? And now I very soberly and strongly say, because it is the most ideal and most appropriate place in the country for it to be. Central part of the United States, heartland of America, and where the immigrants came. They came here because this as Antonín Dvořák said in Spillville, this reminds him of his homeland. Mm-hmm. And this really is a replica of the Czech Republic. And although the Slovaks settled more in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Ohio, and even Chicago, the land still resembles, except we don't have mountains like they do in Slovakia. But it is the ideal place. And thank you for saying that we probably sometimes take it for granted. And I just would encourage all of your listeners, if you haven't been to the museum and library, come this day. The museum and library will be closed until 3:30, until all the events are done outside in front of the clock tower. But they will be open from 3:30 to 5:30 that day on Friday the 27th. But they will have an outside store, though, before. But the point that, people say, well, I'm not Czechoslovak. I've not been there. You don't have to be.
We're all immigrants, and
Amen.
we all have the experience
right. And
in our history.
We want people to say, whether they're German, Norwegian, Swedish, whatever, this is my story too, and be able to relate that to their children and their children's children.
Now, the Orloj is, we say the clock tower. We talk about the figurines and the statues and things, but this is an astronomical clock too, because it has lots of different things in there that are used for astronomy as well.
It is. It has the months, the days, the astrological signs, and this will all change. So in the months, the years, it'll all change around. So it'll be very slow, and they'll start it. The two presidents will push the button to start it on the 27th and on the hour. But we will, in respect to the people, we will close it at 10 o'clock at night.
I kind of wondered if the music and stuff was going to play all night long.
In Prague, they keep it till midnight, but I think we're going to shut it down at 10 o'clock. But and then Ernie Burish, when we great Ernie Burish, he was just like my dad. I loved visiting him in one day he said, that tower sits there. What would you like to do with it? And I said, let's make it like the one in Prague. And so he gave us the down payment for us to get this $2.1 million project started. And so we're halfway there. But what's unique about ours, too, Dennis, is we have four sides. If you look at the one in Prague, it's one side. We have four sides. So we have a lot more, to do on it. We have some Moravian art panels that we've installed on the two sides facing 16th and the Lions Bridge. And then the side that faces actually 16th Street, not the side, but the facing, is going to have a dog, a Czech Vlčak. And this is a Czech dog, and Ernie requested that instead of a rooster, which we have in Prague crowing on the hour, we have a dog barking.
I love it.
And he did I think he liked German Shepherds, and the Czech Vlčak is very similar to a German Shepherd. So it weighed 800 pounds. They hoisted it up in its home now. So that's ready to go. The clock tower is almost ready. Yesterday, the sculptor came. He's going to be mounting the statues today and tomorrow. And we should be ready for the 27th. And it's all ready.
Now you mentioned that people could come as early as 9:30 because obviously there's going to be some security with
Yes, there is.
national leaders in town for this. What's the kind of the footprint of of the area that will kind of be closed off and be part of this event?
Well, there'll only be one entrance to the event, and the event will be where we generally had our Brunos last week. That's where we will have the event. There'll be a stage there, and that's where the event will be. So people that can come early can certainly go into our pop-up store. They can get a seat. There'll be adequate seating even on the side where we had the flood wall.
Okay, so people should not bring their own chairs.
No, because that's a whole security issue. So we've got some chairs. We've ordered quite a few chairs, especially for VIPs and people with special needs with accessibility, or so that they would have a place. And I think we should be fine. People will have to stand, but we do also have the wall. But I think it should be fine. That there should be adequate space. I understand that in 1995 there were no chairs. Right. Yeah. So at least we will have some, and we're planning. We have a great committee. We have 12 committees working on this, and we have Ann Poe representing the city, and then we have our own staff with my assistant Michelle heading up our team. And so I think we really are. Everyone is so busy. Hats off and kudos to everyone.
Well, like any nonprofit organization, you're not awash in staff, so this is meant double duty for everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah. And with the presidents in their coordinating two different both presidents are flying in with their presidential planes, so working with the airport, they'll fly into our private airport hangars, and so because they will not be commercial planes.
Sure.
So a lot of coordination, lots of organization with music and singers and bands, etc.
Well, it's almost here.
Oh, I know. And everyone is so excited. And we're going to be recording all of this, hopefully Facebook Live, as well as with our TV stations.
Oh, great.
In town.
So if for some reason you can't come, you'll be able to watch a live stream.
We hope so. That's on the next 2-week stretch. It was ironic because Brunost came 1 week before, and we had our way, we would have separated them out a bit, but we couldn't, so I think we'll be fine.
So again, it's this Friday, the 27th. Gates open at 9:30. Mm-hmm. The ceremonial starting of the brand new Orloy will be at noon, and lots of activities and fun, and definitely whether you come to this or not. And I've had a chance recently to tour the museum, and it had been a while, honestly, because I'm just like everybody else. It's in my backyard, but I never go. And the exhibits and the stories of the Czech and Slovak people are just such an important part of our community, and we're so lucky to have this international attraction right here in town.
And we're so proud to be in Cedar Rapids. And I just would remind everybody that, the dedication will be from 12 to 12:45. And then we encourage people to go to Newbo and Czech Village because our wonderful business people there have some great food specials, I'm sure, that day offering. So, and then they can come back and tour the museum at 3:30.
That's right. Yeah. If you leave this event hungry, it is not our fault.
That's right.
I'm sure that you've got information on your website for logistics and people who want to maybe look at a map and kind of get a sense of how they should get there. And that is your website?
ncsml.org. ncsml.org. and call us if you have any questions. We have somebody, answering the phone. And the other thing that's important to note is that there will be people sort of directing traffic and parking, because we know that parking will be an issue. And thanks to some great people that have loaned us golf carts, we'll even be able to take people who are
great.
parking with accessibility issues, take them to the venue.
Sure. Okay. All right. Well, again, ncsml.org for logistics and more information. And congratulations again on bringing this project through to fruition.
Well, thanks, Dennis, and it's great to work with you.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.